Hey everyone, in this quick video, we're going to be looking at format options. So we're going to look at how format options can affect pictures, videos, and also titles or diagrams. So the first thing I want to show you is that if you click on an image, you can access format options in the toolbar up here, or you can right click and access format options in the drop down box. So I'm going to click up here because I think that's easier. So with images, the part of the format options that kind of really matter are you can rotate the picture. So say I don't want my picture to be oriented the way that it is. I can rotate it, I can flip it, so it allows you to play around with that. You can even turn it at an angle if you want. It kind of looks kind of cool. I'll leave it like that. And so we can do rotation. I can also mess with the size. So if I wanted to make this 50% of the size that it is, I can make it smaller at a specific ratio. And so those are different kind of things that I can do with the size and rotation. Next, you can do recolor. It's not the most useful tool, but sometimes it holds its purpose. So if I wanted to give this a blue tint, I could, or a green tint, maybe a darker green tint. That looks kind of neat. You can do that with the recolor and send it back to the way that it looked before. The last and kind of most useful part of this tool for images is that you can adjust the opacity, brightness, and contrast. So for instance, this picture looks a little bit overexposed. So I might bring down the brightness a little, bring down the contrast, maybe make it a little brighter, and I can play around with kind of how the picture looks. So this is really useful if, for instance, your picture is too dark and it's a little hard to see in the presentation. You can just go over here, increase the brightness, and all of a sudden it's easier to see. So that's how format options can work for pictures. Now let's talk about for videos. So if I click on this video and then click format options, I have some really cool things that I can do quite easily here. So the first thing I can decide is if I want my video to play when I hit the space bar or the enter bar, if I want it to play automatically when I go to that slide in my presentation, or if I want to click it manually by having to click on the video to make it play. I'm going to choose that one so I have a little more control over it. The next thing I really like is you can control when the video starts and ends. So this video is 7 minutes and 18 seconds long, but I just want to play a little clip of it going from 1:12 to 1:30. And so I can control where the video starts and ends when it plays in my presentation. And then the last thing I have control over is the audio. Say I just want the visual and I don't want the sound. I can click on this and mute the audio, and therefore I'll get a really good visual from my video, but I won't have to talk over the audio in the video itself. So video playback under format options gives you a lot of things that you can play with. All right, the last thing we're going to look at is how you can play around with text. So let me make this a little bigger and I'll bold it. And now if I click on this box or if I highlight this, I'm going to need to right click and then I can access format options through here. And there's my favorite is the drop shadow and the reflection. So for instance, with the drop shadow, maybe I want to have kind of like a glow to my title. So I can make it yellow, or I can make it pink, or I can make it any color that my heart desires. And so I'm going to increase the opacity, change the angle a little bit, bring out the distance and the blur radius, and all of a sudden I have this really cool looking title. Ooh, it's so fancy. And so that's one fun thing that you can do with the drop shadow. Another thing you can do is add a reflection. So now my title looks like it's floating on the water. I can increase the distance of it from my title or decrease the distance. I can play around with the opacity of how dark it is, and I can decrease the size of it or increase the size of it. And so that's the cool little reflection tool. So those are some of the different things. There's other things you can do in the format option as well, but those are kind of the most fun ones. But feel free to access the format options box and play around with all the different things it can do. All right, I hope this little mini video helped. I'll see you for the next one.